The fire crackles like it's trying to gossip. You're gnawing on a vaguely rodent-shaped dinner, wrapped in something that smells like mildew and mammoth sweat, when you glance across the flickering light and see Togo. Togo is squatting happily beside the flames, smiling at absolutely no one, stroking a smooth, round rock like it's a sacred pet. It's not. It's just a rock. He's named it Leaf, and he insists it prefers warm ashes to cold dirt. He waves at you with both hands, his knees wobbling like a baby moose. You wave back. He explodes with laughter. Full body, joy-soaked, wheezy, contagious laughter. You laugh too. Not because you get the joke. There wasn't one. But because Togo's giggle hits your soul like someone just tickled the part of you that forgot how to be delighted. And you're not alone. Across the camp, heads turn. Grob, who hasn't smiled in 4 winters, lets out a surprised snort. Una mutters, he's communing with the fire gods again. Someone trips over a log, because they were too busy watching Togo wave at a squirrel. No one mocks him. They just adapt. Because that's what you do when someone like Togo is in your tribe. You figure it out. It started, as most chaotic legends do, with yelling. The midwife was yelling, the mother was yelling, the fire was too smoky, the wolves were howling like they wanted a front row seat, and the shaman was halfway through snorting beetle powder when someone screamed, "It's here." Cue chaos. Someone dropped a bowl, someone else tried to catch it and accidentally slapped the midwife. The birthing mat caught fire for roughly 3 seconds. Grob tried to help by tossing sand, but it was actually powdered herbs meant for blessings, so now the air smelled like aggressive mint and goat armpit. And through that mess came Togo. Round cheeks, almond eyes, a tiny tongue poking out like he'd already made his opinion on the weather. He didn't cry. He just stared at the midwife, like, "You again?" The entire birth circle paused. There was something different. The shaman blinked. He has the face of the moon. The hunter chief grunted. He looks like a sleepy fruit. One elder asked, "Is he squinting at me in judgment?" Yes, probably. No one said Down syndrome. They didn't have the term. What they had were instincts, awkward metaphors, and an urge to wrap him in rabbit fur and whisper things like, "He sees beyond this world." And honestly, they weren't wrong. He blinked with purpose. He sneezed at exactly the same time the fire crackled in 2 directions. One hunter swore he heard a distant owl hoot and immediately offered the child his personal necklace. It was a weird night. They held a naming ritual. The shaman sneezed halfway through. Togo sneezed back. It was declared a sign. They called him Togo, which loosely meant he who sees the sideways step. Togo didn't walk so much as wobble with purpose. He giggled his way into danger at least once per hour. He licked rocks, hugged tree stumps, and once dragged a full squirrel skeleton into the communal food pile like it was a gift. He didn't learn words quickly, but when he did, they were powerful. His first word? Rock. His second? Rock. His third? Jeff, that was also a rock. His 4th was no, his 5th was also no, but louder. He used it for everything, including soup. He didn't hunt, he didn't forage, he didn't help clean fish, unless you count cleaning them by putting them inside other people's bed furs. At first the tribe tried to teach him. Throw the spear like this. Togo throws it behind him, hits a tree, applauds. The tree was deeply offended. Help gather firewood. Togo gathers mushrooms, names them, tries to cook them, accidentally invents psychedelic soup. The elders hallucinate a new weather god. He's shaped like a lizard and smells like honey. Everyone agrees they feel strangely inspired. Eventually, they stopped trying to mold him and started asking, "Okay, what does Togo do?" They didn't say it with frustration. They said it with curiosity, with affection, with the kind of cautious wonder you reserve for someone who once tried to marry a fern. Because Togo, in all his beautiful sideways logic, wasn't here to fit into the tribe's story. He was already writing his own. Togo makes the spirits laugh, the shaman said. Also, he keeps hugging the ceremonial goat, and it started following him around, so that's a thing now. Then came the day of the big cat. The tribe was mid-foraging, elbows deep in berry bushes, and arguing about whether tubers counted as a meal when something growled. It wasn't it wasn't a stomach. It was big. Fangs, eyes like murder, claws like anger given form. The kind of beast that makes the wind stop moving and the birds go completely silent out of respect. A saber-toothed cat, tan and terrible, slinking through the underbrush like a living death riddle. Everyone froze. Someone dropped their basket, someone else immediately tripped over it. An elder tried to climb a tree and made it halfway before gravity remembered who's in charge. The shaman shouted, "Become the earth," and flopped face first into the mud. Except Togo. He stepped forward. No hesitation. No panic. Just a gentle, cheerful wobble toward the most dangerous predator the tribe had seen in a decade. The tribe. To go, no. The hunters tried to grab him, too late. Togo's holds up leaf, his favorite rock, nice. The cat blinked, paused, tilted its enormous furry head, as if it couldn't decide whether it was being challenged, complimented, or offered some kind of crude snack. Togo offered the rock with both hands like it was a gift. A peace treaty, a sacred artifact of smoothness. The cat sneezed. Loudly, once, then again, then one more time for dramatic effect, and walked away. Once a year, the tribe held a midsummer ritual, a feast, a dance, a celebration of not being dead yet. Everyone danced. Everyone tried to impress someone. Everyone took it very seriously, except Togo. He spun in a circle, fell, got back up, made up a new step involving enthusiastic shoulder wiggles and stomping like he'd discovered rhythm by accident. The tribe tried to ignore it. Then a kid joined in. Then another. Then the grumpiest elder. Then Grob. Before long, everyone was doing the Togo. No one won the dance contest. But somehow, no one cared. He didn't draw maps. He once tried. It was just a bunch of smiley faces in the dirt, connected by arrows and what may have been a flying turtle. When asked what it was, he proudly said, "Everyone's feelings." No one knew what it meant. The shaman wept anyway. He didn't build shelters. He once helped by lining the walls with moss, feathers, and exactly 3 frogs. He called it emotional insulation. It attracted 17 lizards. The tribe called it a learning experience. But he mapped people. Not their paths, not their trades, their patterns. He remembered whose brother died last winter and who still couldn't talk about it. He remembered who liked their meat extra burnt, who couldn't sleep when the moon was too quiet, and who needed an extra blanket but wouldn't ask for one because, "I'm fine, really." He remembered that when Una was sad, she looked at the sky and sniffed twice, then angrily denied it while shoving roots into her face. Togo didn't call her out. He just handed her a rock. It had a smile drawn on it in berry juice. It smelled a little like fish. She kept it anyway. And every time someone's soul seemed a little off, Togo responded the same way, with presence, with kindness, with a rock if necessary. Sometimes a worm. One time, disturbingly, a bat skull. No one was entirely sure why the gifts worked. They just did. One moody hunter received a leaf with a hole in it and immediately burst into tears, claimed it reminded him of his childhood. Togo nodded solemnly, then tried to eat the leaf. He didn't have big speeches. No long talks, no emotional metaphors, no "when I was your age" stories. Just presence. Togo would sit beside you, not too close, not too far, just close enough to make you wonder if he was going to hug you or feed you a beetle. Sometimes both. If you cried, he didn't panic. He offered his knee, or his foot, or one time just plopped a lizard in your lap like, "Here, this will help." And it did. He had no strategy, just vibes. Weird, honest, moss-scented vibes. And in a world of bone, blood, and biting winds, where strength was measured by how many mammoths you could chase, Togo reminded everyone that maybe emotional stability was also kind of a flex. He was the tribe's emotional compass. Bent, slightly sticky, unreliable in fog, but it always pointed toward you. Once, just once, Togo got lost. It wasn't even far. He'd wandered to the ridge, followed a butterfly, tripped over a log, declared the log new best friend, and fell asleep spooning a turtle. He named the turtle Jeff 2, no relation to the rock, but when the tribe noticed, panic. Grob ran 5 miles in a straight line, then realized he didn't know what he was looking for, and just screamed "Togo" into the air until a bird pooped on him. He took it as a sign. Of what? Unknown. The shaman screamed into the river, loudly, dramatically. With full body shaking and a handful of leaves, he threw into the current like they were emergency prayers. Una swore she heard the earth weeping, then started weeping, then slapped a tree and told it, "Don't lie to me." The toddlers formed a rescue group. Their plan was find him using hugs. They got distracted by a beetle and hugged that instead. The beetle was confused but polite. Even the ceremonial bird let out one long, awkward squawk. Possibly grief, possibly indigestion. By the time someone finally found him, 1 hour later, Togo was lying under a fern, smiling, completely unharmed, covered in moss, and spooning the turtle with the confidence of a man who had 0 regrets. The turtle seemed fine, possibly better off. They scolded him. Not seriously, just enough to maintain adult credibility. Then hugged him like he'd invented joy and lent it out for free. That night, no one slept until Togo was safely in the middle of the camp, snoring on a pile of warm furs with a leaf in his hand, a smile on his face, and the ceremonial goat curled around his feet like a bodyguard that got emotionally attached. Marab claimed he saw a spirit hovering over Togo. The shaman nodded solemnly and said that spirit was probably the turtle. Everyone agreed it had been a very emotional day. We have science now. Labels, diagnoses, acronyms, programs, TED Talks, infographics, entire websites dedicated to developmental milestones and parenting blogs with too many fonts. And that's good. But what Togo teaches us is this: the instinct to love and include came first. Before words, before tech, before even pants, we were designed for community, for adaptation, for making room. The earliest tribes didn't need explanations. They didn't need PowerPoints or peer-reviewed journals or an awareness campaign. They had a kid who handed them a rock and said, "Hope," and that was enough. They saw value in presence, in joy, in the weird, beautiful rhythm of someone like Togo. They didn't call it inclusion, they just included. Because in the oldest parts of our brain, in the same lizard-shaped lump that remembers how to make fire and scream at snakes, we carry the memory of people like him. People who didn't fit the mold, because the mold wasn't finished baking yet. People who reminded us that survival wasn't just about running fast or throwing spears. It was about connection, laughter, presence, being the reason someone else didn't fall apart today. So yeah, we have more tools now, but let's not forget what we started with. One person, one tribe, one rock, named leaf, held out in kindness, and the courage to say, "You're different. You're not broken. You're one of us." Because in the end, it wasn't the best hunter that held the tribe together. It wasn't the strongest. It was the one who noticed when someone needed a laugh. The one who saw you even when you weren't sure you wanted to be seen. The one who said nice and handed you a rock. Firelight or electric light, we're still trying to make space for each other. Still hoping someone will dance with us. Still learning that love doesn't have to make sense. It just has to show up. Like Togo, with a rock, named Leaf.